news and views on the Lowcountry real estate scene. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. And I appreciate you joining me this morning. If you're just tuning in, we were just talking about the difference between last year's market and this year's market. Really what's happening out there and how the market is really shifting more toward a buyer's market at this point. So if you missed that, you're welcome to go online and listen to every version of this show that I've recorded over the past little over 6 years on WTMA. Listingsincharleston.com is the website. Of course, you can also learn more about myself and my team and what we do to sell real estate, see some results for the homes that we've sold, listen to every version of the show, find out how much your home is worth, search the MLS, all that fun stuff. Listingsincharleston.com, or you can call me if you want to talk more about your situation and how we might be able to help you. My number is 843-345-1273. Again, 843-345-1273. So I want to talk now about agents just adding drama to deals, not really being helpful in the process, especially in a shifting market. And I was talking with some agents on my team about the market crash of 2008 and just how that impacted the real estate market, because a lot of agents in this market right now have not experienced that kind of market. And I remember clear as day the stress that people were under when the market crashed, a little over a decade ago. I remember that feeling that people had of being totally overwhelmed, the helplessness, the anger, the feeling of being defeated, the lack of control that they had over the market or their situation, the depression, the anxiety. It was a very challenging time to sell real estate because we were dealing with folks that were experiencing emotions that they had not experienced before. And so it was just a hard time to sell real estate. When that market crashed, it was like the market stopped. It was very challenging to get a deal done. And so I look back to a market like 2011, where we had about 2,500 agents in 2011 register a sale throughout the entire year. Last year, just as an example, we had about 4,300 people register a sale. We have about 7,000 agents in our MLS as of right now. I'm being told that it's the second most saturated real estate market in the country. And so if I look back to 2011, there were a little over 400 agents were doing a deal a month. We've more than doubled that. Last year, as an example, 950 agents did a deal a month. Only 150 agents were doing 2 deals a month back in 2011. Now we've got over 300 doing that. And only 30 agents were doing 4 or more sales a month in 2011. That number, not too surprisingly, by the way, has not changed. There's always going to be, for those that are experienced, that are ingrained in the market, that have been here for a long time, we command the top of the market, and the bottom of the market, the lower echelon, is ever changing. And of course, you have a few agents that rise to the top every year, and sometimes they stay there. Most of the time, they don't. But we've been doing this for 13 years. We've sold over 1,000 homes in the market. We're pretty well ingrained here. And so, it was hard to get a deal done back then. But agents, generally speaking, were easier to work with because there were less of them, and the ones that were licensed knew what they were doing. Now we have all these new agents that seem to, just love to inject drama into the transaction. Everybody's fighting for attention in this market. And that's happening because it's saturated. Agents are everywhere. I'm sure, those of you that are listening to the show know at least somebody or probably a handful of people that have their real estate license. And maybe it's somebody at your own job. All these part-time agents out there. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not saying, don't get your real estate agent license and live your dream of selling real estate. But so often these agents will fight for that attention of their client or of the public by going, quote unquote, above and beyond for their client, which really just means that they're pushing too hard in areas that they shouldn't push that hard in. They rock the boat, and then they call us, the seasoned agents, difficult to deal with. Why is that? Because we're not caving to their every demand. And I'll give you a perfect example. We had a home under contract, and it took longer than we thought it would take for that home to go under contract, which is just, a representation of this market. It's not like it was last year. It's not like we can predict with relative certainty how long it's going to take to sell. As that market continues to shift, And if that shift is happening quite rapidly, then, you have to kind of throw stats from 6 months out the window, because the change in the market that's happening right now is different from what you're using as data points to help, kind of influence your seller's understanding of that market. And so the agents that are really good at what they do can see what's happening in the market and take it for what it is. They have a good pulse on the market. They're not just relying on data from a year ago, because last year's data was last year's data. It's different now. So a perfect example is we put this home under contract. We got a good price for it. And then when the home inspection came, which I was mentioning last segment, there was a laundry list of items that the buyer wanted the seller to fix, including the fact that the roof was older and the HVAC system was older. Both of which, by the way, were disclosed to the buyer before they made the offer, because every seller fills out something called a property condition disclosure statement. And so it's the seller's responsibility to disclose to the buyer everything that might be wrong with that house, as well as the age of the roof and the HVAC systems, so on and so forth. So they got the inspection. They wanted everything on the inspection taken care of. And because the roof was older and because the HVAC system was older, they wanted a $10,000 credit for those items, because eventually they're going to have to be replaced. And so I went back to the seller and I said, all right, here's what they're asking for. You're not going to be very happy about this. I'm not either, but I've got to present this information to you. So we talked about it, and we said, look, we're not going to do all this stuff. We're going to give you $1,500, and we're going to give that to you in the form of a credit toward your closing costs, and you can take that $1,500 in cash savings, and you can fix what you want to fix when you want to fix it. And so when I sent that email back to the real estate agent, they were like, Brian, this is ridiculous. I don't know how I'm supposed to go back to my client with this. They're not going to take this well at all. I said, well, that's where the sellers stand. Please present it. I'm at times very short-winded with some of these agents, because the last thing that I'm going to do is engage this agent in their perception of how emotionally taxing presenting this information might be to their client. You kind of just want to say, hey, buck up and present this information. What else do you want to talk about? Well, anyways, they agreed to the $1,500. And it was a good example of, some of these agents that get caught up in the drama or the emotion of selling real estate can allow that to cloud their judgment and influence the way in which they present information to their clients. Had I been a less experienced agent, and I'm saying this because even agents on my team sometimes fall into this trap of, hey, these sellers are, if let's say they're representing the buyer, these sellers are really concerned, and they, are being challenging to work with, and my buyer wants the deal, and I don't think we're going to be able to get any of these repairs made. And I'm saying, present the repair addendum. That's all you need to do, is present the information. You don't need to give them a novel about why you're presenting the information the way you are. This is what the buyer wants. Present the information. So when you get caught up in this trap that sometimes agents are frankly good at tying other agents up with, it can have an impact on how you then present the information to your client. I don't let myself get wrapped up in the drama of real estate. I've seen way too much drama to allow that to influence my decision-making. One of my favorite sayings is, a smooth sea never made a skilled mariner. Think about the person that's been playing a musical instrument their entire lives. They don't have to read sheet music or guitar tabs to play their instrument effectively. They write their own music. They know how to improvise and make it look effortless, like it's second nature to them. That's what a skilled agent can do for you when it comes time to work with someone to help you buy or sell a house. We know how to get the best deal possible. We know how to help you sell your home for more money than other agents. We know the right things to tell you and what to do and what not to do, because we've been doing it for long enough, and we've seen enough success and failure, by the way, to know that there are certain things that we can and reasonably cannot accomplish. We know where the loopholes are, and we know how to help you take advantage of certain points in the process to help you keep more of your money or to help you save more of your money. And the reality is this: agents are really good at only marketing the things that are really good about their business. You're not going to see an agent bragging about selling a house in 5 months, right? You're going to see them brag about the home that they sold in 2 days. that then becomes the public's perception of their performance. Or you, of course, can be smart and realize that selling a home in 2 days is not realistic, nor is it the reality of that agent's business. I like to think about a picture that I saw a few years ago. It was a picture of a goldfish swimming in the water wearing a shark fin. So you see the shark fin cresting the surface of the water, not the goldfish underneath. And that's the power of social media and in the highly unmonitored nature of our industry. By the way, everyone, every once in a while that I'll go to a real estate agent's website and I'll look at some of the claims they're making and the information that they're providing, which should at the very least create some sort of fine or ethical action against that agent, because our industry is so void of regulation and oversight that most agents just get to say whatever they want, so long as it's within reason, I suppose. But on their websites, they make these unsubstantiated claims about their performance with knowledge that no one's going to go behind them and fact check them, which is something that obviously I wish our community of real estate agents and association would do a better job of overseeing. But the blatant misrepresentation of information out there on websites and just the overall marketing messaging that agents put out there is misleading the people that rely on that information to make informed decisions. And my show is all about giving you realistic, real data so that you can form your opinion of the market and become better prepared for the process of buying, selling, and investing in real estate. So if you'd like to have a conversation about how I can help you buy, sell, or invest in a home, feel free to give me a call. My number is 843-345-1273. Again, that's 345-1273. Or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you some things you need to know before you list your house. And then a little later on in the program, we're going to tell you what you need to know before you're going to buy a house. So stick around. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Find Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.